Me. I am a memoir. I said a memoir. The meaning of Mariah Carey.
Hello, Lamely. Welcome back to our very in-depth look at Charmbracelet, the Mariah Carey album. We are in week 2 of that, if you're just joining us.
And what a week it's been.
It has been a week.
Oh, definitely.
We will eventually get back to the book, but we're in the last section, so, you know, there's a whole bunch of albums.
Smashing us with albums.
She's smashing us with albums. Like, she gave us the whole of Charmbracelet on the Isle of Capri, and we had to do it now.
We don't want to get behind, darling.
We don't want to get behind. We got behind early in the book, and it was stressing Posh out.
Yeah.
She's got some issues with things being in order.
Everything. Every day. Imagine if we went and did this. Imagine if we did the album but out of sequence. I'd lose my freaking mind.
Oh my god! Like if you let me be in charge of the orders. I'd be like,
God.
oh my god, there's this song is really good. Oh, there's another song on here. What's it called?
And you'd be talking about a song from a different album.
Yeah, I just started going off about some other thing that it just reminded me of that I loved even more. Anyway, let's break it on down before we end up doing a 2-hour podcast just about who likes things in order.
I would win. Okay. Bring me on down. Kind of the first track of this episode, but not the first track of the album. You know what we're talking about.
Yeah, side 2 of our made-up vinyl.
Yes. Irresistible, not the Jessica Simpson song. West Side Connection, brackets, featuring West Side Connection.
West
Crazy.
Side. On the West Side, West Side.
Written by Mariah, Ice Cube, Quincy Jones III, not the other Quincy Jones, Theodore Life, or Teddy, as I call him, Dexter Wansell, and Damian Young.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which
this
would probably
completes...
be the Westlife connection.
Yes, yeah. I know. So this is sort of what I was talking about, alluding to a second ago about the trilogy. I think this was the point in which I was like, this is fine, but it's nothing new or different, even compared to the songs that came before it. So this is where I started to sort of go, okay. I think the intro is like, boom, where this is a hit song. You know how we do it. Yeah. I was like, ooh, I do know how you do it. This is going to be great. And then just a flat piece of bread with no butter or ham.
Yeah.
Or not even a bit of hummus, you know?
And I think it was wholemeal bread.
Yeah, and like a few days old.
Yeah.
It's maybe like a grain, like with the seed, and I've
not pit
all
bread.
The teeth.
No, not pit bread. I can't.
And I've just had a filling, so I don't want to, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm very dental this week because I did actually have to get a filling.
I'm very dental.
Very dental.
Me,
I am dental.
Very dental.
Oh, for God's sake. But yeah, I just felt like it was setting up something really great. But then it was like, oh, we forgot. Just play another song that's already been on the album. And play that and say it's a different song.
And I have the same thing. I'm like, this sounds like bits of 3 other songs from the album I'm listening to with some rapping on top.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad that we're on the same page.
Fine.
Yeah. And that's,
fine.
I didn't get there with the, weirdly listening to it. I enjoyed You Had Your Chance. Lullaby I also enjoyed, but again was like, oh, it's not that different, but it's still good. And then this one I was like, oh, I could be having a nap, or I could be making a toasted cheese sandwich with fresh, like Baker's Delight white bread.
Yeah, with thick white bread and some ham. Yeah. Like even some maybe, you know, onion. I don't know. Spice it up. Go crazy.
So yeah, I'm kind of glad though that you feel the same,
ironically, It's resistible, this song.
Weirdly, I'd almost prefer the Jessica Simpson song. Pop that in.
No, there's no place for Jessica in my life anymore.
No, I can't. The over and the under song is too much. She offered me protection. All right, so yeah, look, I gave it a 3.75.
Yeah, I'm going to be weird here and only go down to 3.5.
Was it Jessica Simpson that pushed you over?
No, it's just like I like. Yeah, you know what? Funny. I really like the raps on it. Like I love the rap.
Yeah,
I'm like, which on a Mariah Carey album, it's like I shouldn't like the rap more than the song.
Yeah, more than Mariah. Yeah, I think the reason I didn't go super low was because I thought if those last few songs weren't on here, I may have enjoyed it more.
Yeah, no.
But again, it was like I just felt like that they were bragging about a song that they hadn't written yet, and then they wrote it, and we're like, oh, it's too late now. We can't take it off. But let's hit up another song that may have a better reception. We'll see. With Subtle Invitation. First listen for me. It was mentioned in the book.
Was mentioned in the book.
By Mariah Seven Aurelius, I assume.
Oh, really?
Their real name is Marcus Vest, and now all I can think of is See My Vest, See My Vest. That's very exciting. Randy Jackson, Kenneth Crouch, Lloyd Smith, and Rob Bacon. Now all I can think of is bacon. Maybe I'll put bacon at the sandwich. Bacon and cheese. So what are your thoughts on the subtle of the inviting invitation?
Well, it's not very subtle because it starts with fucking belting horns. Honk. Which I love. I love a brass section in a Mariah song. And like yours, which I loved earlier, it has that 70s vibe that I enjoy. Mm-hmm. Her breathy voice is great in this. Like sometimes her breathy voice, like if she does it too much, I'm like, I just want you to sing now, Mariah. Just sing. And here... She does. She belts. She's got some, she chooses some great moments for a couple of breakout belts. And you're like, oh, no, I'm good. You can do as much breathy singing as you like if you're going to occasionally deliver to me some of that icing on the little breathy cake.
Oh, I really want some icing now.
You can't put icing on your sandwich with onion. I won't have
try. Do you know what my mum used to, you know how you get like those mixed pack of biscuits? Where you get like a chocolate biscuit and then like a Nice. Yeah. Whenever there was like the plain ones that no one really liked, Mum would get icing sugar, like make icing and ice them.
Yeah, that's a very...
And that was now a much better biscuit.
I would do a similar thing where I would spread butter on one and then put another one on top and make a little butter sandwich.
But do you know what is really weird? I used to do a Nice biscuit with a slice of cheese in between.
Okay, you're a fuckwit.
I forgot about that until just now. It's good though.
Can I tell you my most favourite biscuit recipe is 2 chocolate digestive biscuits with so much peanut butter between them they may lose structural integrity, and then you eat them like a sandwich.
I wonder if people know about the heaven that is chocolate ripple cake outside of Australia.
Oh.
Anyway, we should probably pull it in. But if you don't know what chocolate ripple cake is, Google it, darlings, and then learn how to make it because it's amazing.
Chocolate biscuits and cream. And that's
you
about
can do
it.
it with you can do it with this butterscotch biscuits, and that's really good too.
Yes. And the canned cream? Do you use the canned?
No, I whip it. I whip it good.
I'm being matron.
All right. So
anyway, we were having a subtle invitation.
Subtle invitation. This is what I wrote. I said, this actually sounds like its own thing. I can actually picture Mariah singing this on a stage with a small band. It feels present. It has its own DNA, but it still fits. Like it does feel different, but it still fits. And I really enjoyed it.
Yay! Yeah.
So I gave this one a 4.75.
Wow, that is high for you.
Which is on point with the highest score thus far.
I am just on the cusp. I'm not quite tipped over. Okay. Like I do love it, but it's just because there's so many songs on this album. Like I feel like some of the other ones are degrading the ones down the end.
Yeah.
But it's I'm on the cusp.
Okay, cusp it.
Of infinity.
All right, this will be an interesting one. On to Bring It On the Heartbreak, which is the first listen for me. And
You
the
got
cover of
the
the Def
best
Leppard
of
track,
me.
written by Steve Clark, Pete Willis, and Joe Elliott, who I assume are Def Leppard, but maybe not me, I don't know. Do you want me to do the video first?
Yeah, go on. Bring us some video clip.
Mariah pulls up in a limo that I guess she was driving.
Yeah.
Mariah drives. She's like, no, it took too long to get to Mum's house.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to drive it myself. She goes to a phone booth and pretends to know what it is. Elsewhere, she has a fight with her boyfriend, but also kisses.
Yeah.
Is he hot, or am I just so single that any man will do? Now Mariah has a helicopter and greets lambs. Marilyn's piano is there, and we almost get full Mariah boom.
Oh,
They're heaving, darling.
That's so out.
So heaving. Is that Dave Navarro?
So much side boob. I think Dave
all-
Navarro
all-
only signed up for side boob.
Yeah. I think he actually is the personification of one of Mariah's breasts and just flopped out and became a person.
Started playing the guitar.
So is that Dave Navarro? Is there anything he doesn't appear in? At this time period, he was in everything, including Charmed. He's playing guitar, even though there's no guitar being heard. Okay, there is a bit now, but not enough to justify his being there. Mariah flounces. This video was definitely necessary.
I love this video. It's so like
It is your background right now.
It is my background right now. I love that. She went. Look, I could remake the whole of fucking, A Star Is Born, Lady Gaga, Bradley Cooper, but I'm just going to do it for 3 minutes and sing a Def Leppard song. It's easier.
I'm very busy.
So busy. Busy.
So how do you feel about the cover, one on its own and then compared to the original?
I don't know the original at all.
Okay.
Have no.
I did not
concept of
either.
it.
I had to go and listen to it.
Did you? How does it sound in comparison?
I'll tell you after.
Okay, so
I'll talk you through you tell me and then I'll talk you through what I wrote.
you know how much I love a Mariah cover. Like I love Mariah's songwriting.
We do. We love a Mariah cover.
But I love when Mariah gets to sink her teeth into someone else's song, because I do feel sometimes she has so much respect for her craft of being a songwriter and the people she's collaborating with that she won't go too crazy on the vocals often, because it's like, well, I want people to hear what I'm singing about. When she's singing someone else's song, she's like, fuck it. I don't care about this song.
Yeah. I don't really feel anything about it. I'm just going to sing it.
Ow! I'm going to squeal over the whole thing. I love that she gets to do the that kind of split vocal, the big high when the vocal kind of splits. It's like, yeah, like great fun moments. It's, it has all the drama of a 70s rock ballad with Mariah squealing on top of it. Like, what is there not to love? And I love that the guitar is so far down in the mix. I barely remember it being there until I watched the video and they've mixed the guitar up to justify Dave Navarro having no shirt on.
I know, it was strange.
And I'm like, why have I done that? And then I just thought, when I watched the video, I'm like, does Dave Navarro even own a shirt? I have never seen him with clothes on in my entire life.
No.
It must have like a severe burn from the guitar strap. Like,
Or he's just got like one piece of cloth. He just wears like a strap.
But yeah, that's the only clothes he wears is the guitar. I mean, he's very pretty. I'm not going to complain about him being shirtless.
I mean, look, I'd be shirtless if I looked like that.
Yes, so would I, all the time. But yeah, it's like, it's the big 70s rock ballad drama that I appreciate. Like, and Mariah goes, you know what? This is camp. I am going full camp on this song. I'm doing a Def Leppard song and I am just going to go to town and have a ball with it. And she does. Like, she sounds like she's having fun singing this song.
Yeah, that's true. I know that the Def Leppard fans were not super convinced, but Def Leppard themselves were like, oh, no, this is good. Like,
they had to sign
she's
off
legit. Yeah. And they're like, no, she's not doing this to like kind of parody. It's, she's doing her thing. So let her do her thing. Yeah. So this was a funny one because going into it, production wise, it feels kind of like its own thing, something Mariah's not done before, which I like. Almost going into sort of like, around this time was your Evanescence, your Anastasia.
Yes.
That kind when rock was coming in. And I'd actually have been really curious to see if they'd gone there. Like, oh, well, that guitar's going to be at the forefront right next to Mariah's voice. And so I kind of, like, I've literally written, there's pros and cons. Like, I really like that it's a point of difference on the album.
Yeah.
I like that she's taken something that's rock and kind of, it's still within that, but she's like, I've kind of gone somewhere else with it. But I almost wish she'd not straddled both worlds. I almost wish she'd either gone really melodic and chill, or I'm going to fucking rock this stadium, bitch. Like I'm going to triple down on it. And I think that's where I couldn't quite connect, even though I really wanted to. I was like, I really want to be there, and it's just not. So I normally don't do this because I tend to just want Mariah's version. So Open Arms, I never went and listened to the other one, because why would I?
See, I had of course heard already before. I heard Mariah.
I had heard Nilsson's version of Without You, but I'd not heard the original. Yeah. Because he changed it, and then she covered from over his version. But there were other ones like the Phil Collins song that I kind of knew, but not that well. Yeah. But with this one, I was like, no, I think I want to go back in here, because I thought maybe I'm being unfair. Maybe that's as far as they go. Yeah. But going back, they were a rock band. They did rock. It was rock, and obviously vocally it's very different. But I don't know. I wanted her to go further. I was like, come on, like, I know this is terrifying. Maybe even turn the fan off. Maybe get a little sweaty. How dare you? I know. Like, I just, like, it's like...
She doesn't do method hair when she's singing.
No, and maybe I wanted method hair. Maybe that's where I was like, no, you look gorgeous, Mariah, but I think... Maybe Bianca needed to sing this song.
Oh, wow.
Maybe, because then it would be okay. Because Bianca wouldn't have...
Bianca can't sing, which is why she got run off the road. She's regular. Yeah. I think Mariah did all of Bianca's vocals for her.
But yeah, I sort of...
Turn silk all the way down.
I think it's maybe the one time that Mariah doesn't trump the original, which... I mean, that's a hard task in the first place. So the fact that she's done it once, let alone many times, is insane.
I just love, you know what I love about this? Again, I've never listened to the original, so I wouldn't know. But I love, like, Mariah with rock drums. Like, I want to hear more, because, she often has and I think that's overproduced kind of like almost electronic drum sound. Yeah. Like, even in Without You and stuff, it's like doof, doof, doof.
Yes.
Whereas this is boom, 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 boom. like whoa, yeah.
Weirdly, that's maybe what I wanted even more of.
Yeah.
Like almost, like I said, a tripling down. And we're not doubling down, darling.
Yeah.
We're quadrupling down. Like, fucking.
But yeah, on the video clip version, I think having the guitar mixed up, I'm like, oh, maybe if all of the kind of live sounding instruments were mixed up, maybe it is like, again, it's happened a couple of times on this album that where the production is a little bit tinny, and I feel like it could be more lush and rich. Yeah,
and I think even when they pulled it up, I was like, that's 30% of that guitar I want. And almost underestimating or assuming that Mariah would want her voice to be the number one. It's like, no, but Mariah can lift to wherever you go. Yeah. So if you go there, she will be sitting right alongside it. So don't worry.
I feel like a lot of production here in the early noughties is because certain people were in the charts who could be easily drowned out because they could not match the song.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think that just became the default, which is why so many of the songs on this album are Mariah singing with Mariah in the background. Because it's like, why are you not playing any music? All right, I'll sing along to it.
And I think the reason I obviously I mentioned Evanescence because that was very much, the Amy Lee has quite a nice big voice, not as big as Mariah, but and could stand next to it. But I recently listened to the Anastasia self-titled album, and I kind of forgot how far she went with the rock sound. I was like, oh, if you'd never heard Anastasia, you you would be like, oh, this is a rock band. Like
Yeah.
this, because especially the first song is a song called Seasons Change. I was like, oh no, that's a real guitar. Like she really, and maybe because I just listened to that, that's also, I'm like, oh, it was the same time. Like they should have. And I found out actually, side note, with no side eye, that Anastasia was signed to Sony in the late 90s. That's probably how Mariah knows her. Because they follow each other on Instagram and interact.
There
I was like,
go.
right. And maybe they were friends because it was right at the end. So
Yeah.
Mariah was already out of Tommy. Wait,
Yeah.
what? Out of his grasp.
Out of Tommy.
And maybe,
Tommy
Anastasia came in, but Anastasia was like, I'm not trying to take your thing and I can sing. And Mariah was like, we're good.
Yeah. If you can sing,
good
you're
here.
fine. I'm fine with you. If you can't sing,
Yeah, and
you've
she
got
was on
other
Ally-
people
they were
singing
both
and
on
you're
Ally
taking their
McBeal.
credit.
Yeah. Yes. And they were both on Ally McBeal. So
You and your
it
Ally
all
McBeal.
lines
Have
up.
you been watching what's that show? The impeachment show with
No.
Beanie Feldstein and Clive Owen plays President Clinton. And
I've heard about it because this is the one where they got Monica Lewinsky's permission.
she's a
Like,
producer
she
on
was-
the show.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
And Sarah Paulson playing Linda Tripp, and she's unrecognizable and amazing.
Oh, really?
But anyway, the other day, Monica Lewinsky, Beanie, was watching Ally McBeal, and I was like, oh, there's Posh in her hotel room.
I mean, I'd much rather be watching Anna McBeal than being under a desk.
That's
Anyway.
true. The
So
weird
for
thing
this-
is there's no sex in the show. It's all talked about, but there's nothing. You don't see anything.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So for the song, Bring It On the Heartbreaker, I gave it a 4, but I wanted to give it more, is what I wrote. How about, is this going to be
It's Rockfinity. It's amazing. I love it. It's just...
And you know what? It
she
could
has
literally just be,
so much fun.
maybe I just need to get the track. Like, with all of the different stems and just turn everything up.
Yeah, do it. Grab the stems,
And I'll feel better.
turn it all up.
I'm sure they'll give me access. All right. On to Sunflowers for Alfred Roy.
Oh,
Mariah and Lionel Cole. And the little tidbit on this is Mariah only sang this once through.
Yeah.
As she said, it was too emotional to repeat. So I don't know if she's ever sung it live either. This might be one that she's stayed away from.
yeah. This is like after the crazy silliness of Mariah doing Def Leppard, which is just a sentence I never thought I'd say, but here it has been part of my life for 10 years now. We get this punch in the guts of this song, and it's, because it starts off, it feels a bit like the Rainbow interlude a little bit, and it's got a touch of the, it feels like it's in the same place as Petals on Rainbow.
I did write, this feels like it goes alongside Petals.
Yeah.
Their little sister songs.
Yeah. But it has so much real emotion in it. Like there is, not just lyrically, obviously, it's clearly about, her father. But I like the fact that the production is stripped right back. And it's just like, this is just me now singing my truth. And yeah, it is like a sudden gear change to it's a breathtaking moment because you're just like, oh, I wasn't expecting that on this album.
Well, it's funny because with Mariah's, particularly these first sort of from the first album to now, there's like sort of almost a little bit of a recipe in terms of there's a cover.
Yep.
And then there's this song.
Yeah.
As in the song that's never meant to be a single.
Yeah.
It's somewhere towards the end of the album. Mm-hmm. Except for on Mariah Carey, which it was vanishing probably. But
yeah.
You could almost go through and make a little playlist of looking in, outside, Petals, Sunflowers, but the way where she sort of puts it in a similar spot, but the songs that are around it change.
Yeah.
On each album, so it changes the reaction, I suppose. And like you said, we've just gone from a rock cover to hang on. And I just wrote that it's a quiet moment of reflection after sort of more chaos, I suppose.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, we're bringing it. It's quiet. We're in a little room now. And we're just kind of whispering this song. Like,
I love that it's got a cold start. Like it starts with vocals. It is. Yeah.
Which we love.
And it's a bold choice, like for not just an album track, but just, any kind of song on a Mariah Carey album. It's like, because so much of, the last few albums have been about production and, aiming for hits and things, but to just go, no, just going to sing now.
Yeah. And I feel like we'll do a better job of this song when we get to that chapter.
Yeah.
Because there is, I think it's The Father in the Sunset.
Yeah, I think so.
Is still to come because we had The Father in the Sun. Yeah, so The Father in the Sunset. So I dare say that this will be mentioned in that chapter. So we may learn even more.
Yeah.
Revisit.
Yes. But yeah, so I gather this was after he'd passed away. So it's a very...
Yeah. Because there was something mentioned when I was looking through things about the loss of a parent. And I was like, oh, so he did, but we've not gotten there in the book. So the timeline is a little confusing.
You can't jump ahead.
No. So I think it must have happened around Glitter.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that era. So I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5. How are you?
I'm giving this an emotional affinity. Because it is just, it is such a great...
Affinity.
Yeah, it's such a great key change. It's Sunflindity.
See, it's funny. I didn't notice the key change, which must mean it's good.
Oh, no, I don't mean the key change. I meant like the whole album. Like it's a key change for the album. Like it's a gear change.
I'm using a word that means something else. Yes.
A gear change for the album. Did I say gear change and you heard key change?
Either way.
But like it's a gear change for the album. It's just like where I've just taken my foot off the brake and just sailing down the hill in neutral. Yeah. And it's beautiful.
We're going we're really going down the hill to the next track, which is Through the Rain remix, featuring Joe and Kelly Price, who was recently in the news.
Oh.
Do you know what happened here?
No.
Supposedly, she was missing.
Oh, no.
So Cheryl Lee Ralph, my friend, Cheryl Lee Ralph.
I love Cheryl Lee Ralph.
We love the Cheryl Lee Ralph.
Have you seen
she put it on Twitter.
The TV show?
Yes.
Huh?
Sister Act 2, yes.
No. Have you seen the TV show with Tig Notaro called One Mississippi?
No.
It has a beautiful performance by Cheryl Lee Ralph in the second season. Okay, spectacular.
The only Tig Notaro thing I've seen is like, I don't know who you are or something. It's like
when she does the interview, she doesn't know who the people are.
Yeah,
just to guess.
And I only know because of Melissa Joan Hart, but weirdly used to babysit Lucy Lawless's kids.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, random. And was her husband, Rob Tappert, who did all Spider-Man with Sam Raimi and stuff, was his assistant, I believe, and not great, but they just really liked her. So they're like, we'll keep you. She's not very good at it, but we like you. Anyway,
but yeah.
Random tidbit. But no, so Cheryl Lee Ralph posted on Twitter, like, I hope they find you, something, all worried because Kelly Price was apparently missing, had been reported missing. Within minutes, it was over because it turned out that she'd gotten COVID and had gone to the hospital and then had gone somewhere to recover. So she's okay, but had gone somewhere to recover and maybe not told anyone. I don't know.
Wow, when you get COVID, it makes you dizzy.
But I was like, what is happening? Like it was the shortest thing ever because by the time I saw it, and then had a Google, within 5 minutes it was over.
I'm like, finished, yeah.
That was a quick, I'm so glad that's over. It was
a
harrowing 3.5 minutes.
For you is all I can say.
So this remix was written by Mariah, Kenneth Crouch and Randy Jackson. Mm-hmm. This was not the remix I was expecting.
No?
Because I was expecting the dance remix.
No. There are many. There are. I think there's about 432 Through the Rain remixes.
Yeah, and so I guess I just wasn't expecting a redo. And I don't know, I kind of thought it was fine, but I didn't really think it was super necessary in this particular case.
Right.
Not in the way that some of the other, like Heartbreaker remix and all of that were their own thing. And I don't know. And I felt like Joe and Kelly deserved to be a part of something new that had a little more oomph. I was kind of like, these are good singers here.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I felt it was a little wasted.
Again, because we've just had this weird echo of Rainbow with Sunflowers for Alfred Roy feeling very much like Petals, this feels very much like the remix of Thank God I Found You, which,
Sure.
I hated Thank God I Found You, but I liked the remix.
Sure.
And I do like this. I don't like it better than the ballad version.
No.
There's no way that's going to happen. But it does, yeah. I mean, but the reason I think it makes me feel like Thank God I Found You is probably because Joe's hanging out again. It's come to visit. But yeah, I feel like for an album closer, you don't want to finish on Sunflowers for Alfred Roy. And you do want to
I'd be fine with that.
No, I like kind of finishing on something kind of upbeat, even though it's, Through the Rain, which is like a big kind of declarative statement thing. But yeah, and I love that it sounds so different from the actual ballad version that it does legitimately, more than most of her remixes she puts on the albums, it legitimately sounds like a completely different song. Like, how the other ones you go...
There's a chorus or there's
it's like
something.
The Butterfly reprise is like a little bit like, I can still hear Butterfly. Like, I can still hear the dancey version of this, but this feels like a completely different song, like almost like she's, interpreting one of her own songs on the same album, like the same way she would do if she was grabbing a sample.
Yes, sure.
And I kind of like that. And and I like the way their voices mesh together. Like,
I think I agree with you that it's probably the most different. I don't know. I was like, different doesn't mean good. I was sort of like,
I think you were just exhausted by this point of the album.
Possibly. But I don't know. You hear Joe, you hear Kelly Price, you're like, oh, this is going to be good. Like, this is going to be MTV Unplugged.
Yeah.
And it's not. And so I was like,
Well, it is hard to replicate
mind,
that kind of live feel in a remix.
No, true.
Yeah.
But I don't mind ending on, like looking in. That I like that it kind of subverts the rest of the sound. But, again, that's just personal preference, really. So, look, I didn't love this. This was a 3.75 for me.
Yeah, it's a 4. It's, it's fine. I like it, but it's not, I'm not going back to it. Like, if I had to choose a Through the Rain, I'm going to go.
Oh, by far.
I'm going to go original flavour.
Go OG.
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready for some bonus tracks?
Bonus tracks? What?
So there is a bunch because Mariah, this is kind of the first time that I was looking and I'm like, Mariah was like, we're going to give you the deluxe versions.
Yes.
On the little tour moment, as well as some features that don't exist on any album. So we're going to smash through because I'm pretty sure Emancipation, she doubles down on that kind of thing.
Oh, she does. She released a whole other album to go with
it. So, jumping on, first is Miss You, which was first listen, which features Jadakiss, written by Mariah, Cox Dupree, JT Phillips, Terry Etling, and Linda Laurie.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mind this one, and I think it was sort of a little more interesting than some of those middle album tracks, but production feels a little underdone. I was sort of like, on one hand, I'm like, oh, there's something here that I wouldn't have minded on the album, and maybe swap out the Irresistible.
I sometimes feel like when she says, if Jermaine likes it, then I like it, meaning I don't like it, but I'm not arguing.
Yeah. I like him. Yeah. What? How do you feel about the Miss You? Did you miss? Do you miss?
You know why you like this song?
Why?
It sounds like a regular song.
Hang on, I need to hear it now.
It sounds like a regular song, except she can belt.
Hang on, I need to hear
regular songs have no belts in them; they just stay at one level the whole time.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's not my favourite. It's a bit disjointed. Jadakiss feels like he's doing an impression of Pitbull.
I don't think Pitbull was born yet.
No.
He was a mere puppy.
But, it's very regular, which was the sound at the time. And I am not here for that.
Ah, interesting. So you're saying that Mariah was inspired?
No, I don't
by
think
a
she was
regular person.
inspired.
Is that
but
what you're saying?
if Jermaine likes it, then I like it.
So Jermaine was inspired. by
Jermaine
a
was like,
regular
come
person.
on, this is what's making hits. And she's like, well, I'll do it. But I'm going to prove that I can sing better and just belt
Oh,
every
that's so
second
funny.
song.
I didn't think about it in that way.
Like, doesn't it? Doesn't it sound like a regular song?
Kinda. But again, it's hard because that time in music, it was either the Evanescence or it was Ashanti with Ja Rule.
Yeah.
Which regular people worked with, Mariah worked with. Like
Yeah.
it was sort of a mixture between the hip hop
Yeah.
elements or the rock.
But yeah,
So it's
this
anything around this time.
feels very regular.
So what? Look, I gave it a 4.25. I enjoyed it, but again, I did have a break, so I finished the album,
And then you had
and
a
then I
rest,
listened
and
to
then you came
these
back
the
to
next
this.
day. Yeah,
Like again, I'd heard this a lot because it was on the remixes album. So
yeah.
it's and I liked it then, but now that it sounds like a regular song,
I love it.
I'm giving it a 2.
Oh my god, really? This is not Dreadful Ones territory.
It gets two big fat points
my
for
God.
belts and proving you can belt while singing a regular song. But
I think this is making a mockery of the system, not because of the regularness, but because you're really comparing this to the Dreadful Ones. I
I love
can't
that.
get on board with
I
that.
gave that Infinity. That is the best song on that
No, but
album.
I didn't because it's not
know.
a good song.
It's a great song. It's a Prince
No,
song.
it's
It's
not.
amazing.
It's terrible. It's a really bad song.
You're a terrible person. You just didn't like it because it went for 7
you know
minutes.
what's funny?
Whereas I want 7 minutes of
No,
Cisco and Mariah. having a fight.
you know how I have no friends,
Yes.
and so I watch people react to songs on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it could be an age thing. 2 guys around, probably a little bit younger than me, but
Yeah.
who listened to Butterfly for the first time. I was curious to be like, oh, I wonder what they thought in comparison. That it was their least favorite song from both of them.
Yeah.
I was like, it's universal now.
No, it's so good. It's such a good song. You're dead to me.
I mean, well, you just called the one track on the album that Mariah didn't write the best song. So I don't know. That's so you're giving Miss You a 2.
I'm telling
Oh my
you,
God.
it's because she goes to town with her vocals when she hasn't written the song. She's like, I don't care if anyone understands what I'm saying. I'm going crazy.
So far, this is your least favorite song Mariah's ever done.
Yep. It's regular. It
I
is
feel like it's
regular.
not- I just feel like that's not true. You're just doing it to be mean to me.
Regular.
You'll find yourself singing it.
You know the other thing? It's like every time they put one new song on a compilation album, it's shit house. Not just Mariah.
Was this
This was on the remixes.
the new song on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that the only new one?
I think there was a couple of them, but this is the
Well,
one.
because I think some of them are here.
Yeah, but there was just like
Interesting.
No. None of these else were. Otherwise, it would have showed up in my list
weren't
of
they?
songs that I had. Yeah,
Hang on. I thought. No, I know what you want was. Yeah, that's probably all.
yeah. But
Weirdly, I had that as well.
yeah. It was just
Interesting.
yeah. You know, sometimes like the songs that Madonna put on the Immaculate Collection, and you're like, what is this shit? Like, don't call
See, I
this a
didn't
best
mind those
of.
songs.
Don't call this a
I
best
like a bit
of
of
and
Rescue Me.
put Rescue Me on here. That is like again.
I like Rescue.
The
But
weather.
do you know what I realized?
I don't want waves or weather
Yeah, you don't like
in my songs.
the weather. I did the song "Justify My Love." Was that the other one?
Yeah, I like that one.
So weirdly, she did a Mariah in terms of she remixed herself on Erotica twice.
Yeah.
So the song "Waiting" and "Waiting for You," which are 2 different songs, are literally just "Justify My Love" remixed.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Especially the
Erotica
weird thing
was a
was
hot
"Justify
mess.
My Love."
Erotica was
Yeah, I
a
didn't like
hot
it.
mess.
And weirdly, "Justify My Love" was the better version anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why did you do that? All right, on to a song that I know you're going to give Nut Infinity, which is "I Know What You Want" by Busta Rhymes, written by Busta, Rashia Fisher, Roger McNair, Ricardo Thomas, William A. Lewis, and L. Jones. US and Australian number 3, which was a big thing at that time.
Yeah.
This was the song that sort of put Mariah back on the charts in a real way.
It's like, oh, that's right. Mariah. She's good.
Yes. So I do have a video. We sort of touched on the second half
Yeah.
of this video with their other song. And I don't remember if I did a posh synopsis, but
I don't
just
think so.
say I did.
I think
'cause
we
didn't
talked
do
about it because
here.
it was a Mimi moment.
It was a to be continued, yeah. So, all right. Buster Nut and his mate are in a limo, and old mate is like, look after my wife while I'm away. You deafs won't fuck her. And Buster is like, nah, prob's not. Looking after the wife entails surveilling her in every room of the house at all times. She has a fight with her man and is sad. There's a lot of guys here who I'm guessing are Flip Mode Squad. The cartoons are hugging. Ugh, I don't care. Where's Mariah? I need to see more of her in her hat. There's another girl here. Is she also in Flip Mode Squad? I could Google, but it's been a long day. Ooh, Mariah's hat is actually a visor. Other shit happens. There's a bubble bath and an animal orgy. I really don't care at this point. The boss returns and has no idea that Buster and his girl have been getting it on. Except I don't actually think that they did. Now everyone is getting carjacked and it gets resolved in the other song that they did. I was really tired. It's been a busy, weirdly for lockdown, I've been very busy this week.
It happens. I'm the same.
And I was like, I like this song and I like the video. I remember the video and I like the to be continued that happens in, and then we just got, like a couple months ago. But I just was not in the mood. So that's what you got.
I love
for your
this
Posh Synopsis,
video
guys.
because of the animated bits were, I don't know if they were done by him, but they were heavily influenced by Frank Miller's Sin City comics, which I had been
I see
reading.
that.
But yeah, so I'd read almost all of the Sin Cities. I absolutely love those comics. And so seeing this video, I was like, it's Mariah and Frank Miller. And
They're friends
my
now.
boyfriend.
Yeah, boo. And look, don't let my Posh Synopsis
Buster.
drag it down because I did like it. I just write what I feel at the time. And that's how I felt in that
Buster
moment.
Rhymes' voice in this song. Don't put 1,000
Yeah,
pounds of
you
stress on my head.
really...
It's so deep. It vibrates.
This...
It vibrates part of me that I can't explain. Can I read you verbatim my notes on this song?
You can, but I'm just thinking in my head, baby, if you give it to me, I'll give it... That's not low.
No. It's the talking.
Okay, right. I
Don't
was
put
like,
1,000 pounds
not
of
adding
stress
up.
on my head. Call my mommy Mariah. Oh. It's not the singing
Mariah.
voice. It's the
I can't. My cheeks aren't as elastic as yours. I can't do it as well.
Here's my notes. Are
Mummy
you ready?
Mariah.
Buster,
Yeah, no.
Mariah. This is perfection. I have a chubby.
I hate that word
I know.
for that thing. It's gross.
There's something about his rap voice that just, yeah, it gets me.
Oh my goodness. All right.
And it's just such a great song. It's such a fun, slow burn of a song. And it's they're kind
I
of.
feel like it was one of the first really successful breathy Mariah vocals commercially.
And also just
As far as people going, it's
the
different.
exchange that's going on, in the song, baby, if you give it to me, I'll give it to you. I know what you want. It's like, whoa, hello.
I was really surprised that Mariah didn't write any of it.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that she'd be like, I'll write it with you. But no, he'd written it and then got her on it.
Yeah. She's like, yeah, I'll come and sing that. Come on, you shouted all over my last night at DJ Saved My Life and it was hot.
I know it annoyed that posh guy, but I liked it.
I love that we are so all of these, I feel like this entire section, we're heading into songs where Mariah is returning the guest favor.
Pretty much, yeah. Okay, so for this one, I like it. I said it's still catchy, even 20 years later. I don't have the same feelings for Buster's vocal as you do.
No, you have a problem.
There is no chubbing. But I can't say it's a song that I seek out, but when I do hear it, I enjoy it.
It's great.
So I gave this one a 4.5.
Yeah, this gets Busterfinity. Buster
I
Nutfinity.
thought you were going to say Chubfinity.
Chub. Chub.
My God.
Chub.
It's just messed up. All right, we're nearly there. We're getting through.
Yes.
We can do this. Okay, There Goes My Heart. First Listen for Me, written by Mariah, Irving Lorenzo, Marcus Vest, See My Vest, and Lloyd L. Smith. This was different from Mariah.
Yeah.
Like, at least, like, especially in the beginning, I thought it sort of, it then brings in a little bit more sort of classic Mariah, but it feels fresher to me than some of the tracks.
That's because you listen to it away from the
with
album.
the fresh ears. Yeah.
Whereas I listened to
I wouldn't
it
have minded it.
right after the album.
Right.
The album it was cut from.
Yes. Right. So you're going to give this a 1.5, aren't you?
No. I just feel like if this was on an album with yours and Subtle Invitation, you would be like, are you doing this again? Like...
Maybe. Yeah.
Like it feels, as inventive as those two, but just, it's like another tilt at that kind of sound.
I need to hear it again.
I do.
There's so many songs that it's really easy to forget.
I do enjoy the production. Like I think it sounds like an interesting song. But you know what? Mariah doesn't sound like she's into the vocal on this.
Oh.
Like it feels like going through the motions a little bit. Like she never really takes it anywhere.
The emotions?
Yeah, no, not the emotions. But she never really takes it anywhere. She never really steps it up. Like she never has that. She never really gives it that extra bit of Mariah magic that,
Sure.
every other song on the album seems to have. This one's like, I feel like she's gone, oh yeah, I forgot to give that a little bit of a Mariah kiss. Oh well. I'll put it on the Japanese album.
It's funny, I was just listening to it in the background. I think it's just the instrumental that's kind of different.
Yeah.
For her. Like it's almost going into
but then so was Subtle Invitation.
I'm yours. Who sings that song?
I'm yours. I don't know.
Yeah. That song, you know the one, you guys know. Almost sort of like just like someone chilling at the beach with their guitar.
But
it's giving me that vibe for some reason.
But like yours and Subtle Invitation both have that kind of inventive production to them. And
maybe it's because I again had the distance that I kind of don't remember.
Yeah. And
then you're going to be surprised. Well, we're going to surprise each other with our scores.
I mean, I did enjoy it. I just don't think she really sang it as much as she did everything else on the album.
Maybe this is Bianca.
Oh, maybe this is Bianca.
Yeah. Look, I gave it a 4.5. It's not the favourite, but I gave it a 4.5.
Yeah, I'd probably give it a 4. Because it feels like, oh yeah, it could be good, but it's just, I think it's just, on an album that has a lot of songs on it, like this one would have just would have broken the back. Straw that broke the camel's back.
All right, I'm smashing through so that we're not here forever, but we've only got a couple left.
Yep.
We have You Make Me Wanna, which is a Jadakiss song. Yes. First listen for me, which surprised me because I had it, but I'd never listened to it.
Yep.
Written by Jadakiss, Mariah, and Scott Storch. US number 21. It didn't chart in Australia, but it was like 21. It's pretty respectable in the US. I think out of all of the songs of this album, this is the one I have in my head the most.
Wow.
I think there's something about sort of the playfulness of Mariah. Apparently it was, I think, and maybe the reason it's called You Make Me Wanna and not KISS Me. They kind of brought Mariah in and she was just playing around with his name and just kind of being playful, like Jadakiss, like KISS Me. And I just love her delivery, like the KISS Me, and then I just want to make love. Like, it's just like, it didn't go where I thought it would.
Yeah.
And I honestly didn't think I would like it as much as I do when I first listened. And then listening it, I was like, this is the one that just keeps sticking out of my head. And it's because of Mariah.
Yes.
Even more so. I'm like, I don't know, there's something about it that's like, she made it, I mean, she makes everything better, let's be real. Yeah. She's made all our lives better. But she took a song that I maybe never would have really paid any attention to. And suddenly I'm like, I want to hear that again.
Yeah. See, I'm the other way around. I'm like, she's the best thing about this song. She's doing well. She's doing a great job. Jadakiss is not floating my boat.
Right.
Like
is that because he works with regular people?
Maybe. But it's like, it's pretty, but it's just like, I don't know. I feel like I feel like it's like she's doing so much of the heavy lifting that the rest of the song feels like it's almost like no one's really turned up to party. And she's like, hey guys, I've put on this great spread. And they're like, yeah, I might have a biscuit. And she's like, I have done all of this. I've done all this work. And I'm ready to have fun. And no one else seems to be having fun. I don't know.
Maybe I just like it because Mariah is actually talking about sex.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
She wants to make love.
Yeah, that's why I like Lullaby.
Yeah, and I didn't get it then.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely the one that is in my head the most.
Yeah. And again, like a chant like that always gets stuck in your head because it's a chant.
Yeah, exactly. And she's not done anything like that I can recall.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
there is a video.
I know what you want is the same kind of structure because, like,
yeah, that's true.
It's almost like she's chanting in that one too.
Yeah. There is a video.
Mm.
I have this is a very in-depth poshnopsis, so we might be here a while.
Oh, really?
People I don't care about pay bills or something. Mariah finally shows up in a silk nightie and smiles a bit.
Great.
That's all that happens. Stuff happens, but I just didn't care about their narratives.
Yeah.
I was like, where's Mariah? Oh, she looks pretty.
That's how I feel about the actual vocals. It's like, oh, yeah, Mariah sounds pretty.
Yeah.
And that's all I feel about it.
They probably had her for half a day.
Yeah.
But forgot to factor in that she was in hair and makeup.
Yeah.
And so by the end, they only had her for about 15 minutes. Yeah, and they're like, we can't do the story we were going to do, so we'll just sit.
Yeah.
And you can sing and look nice. And we'll do a couple of takes and then you can go home. So I gave this a 4.5.
Oh, really?
5.
Yeah, no, I'm giving
it a regular
3.
score, aren't you?
3.
Oh, interesting.
3.
I'm curious to see if I'll get a message in a few days going, I can't stop singing KIS, it's me.
You won't.
Better. All right, things that you do. First listen, JZ and Kasim Dean, written by.
Yes.
It's a little JZ song. What do you think?
Why have JZ and Mariah recorded a song next door to a 7-year-old practicing the recorder? I do not understand why they couldn't find a different studio to record in. This is not JZ's best work. Mariah valiantly trying to counteract that tooting noise, but she's not allowed to drown it out. And Bill Cosby gets a mention, so it's cancelled.
Oh, does he? I didn't even notice that.
But also,
also
Todd Bridges from Different Strokes. I got a bit excited as well.
Yeah, honestly, I think thus far in her whole career, this might be my least favorite feature.
You know who was playing the recorder?
Well. Was it J-Lo?
Beyonce. Beyonce's like, if we're going to have her on the record, I'm just going to toot, 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 ruin it for you. Toot, 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 toot. You got to keep that on, honey, because I don't want Mariah out singing me. Toot, 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 toot.
So, yeah, look, the loop gets old as well.
Yeah.
It's just like the whole thing. I didn't care. So I gave it 3.5.
Yeah. There's 2.
Look, it probably is. I'm being nice.
You are.
I don't want
very
Lamley
nice
to attack me. Well, because I'm normally the hard marker and everyone picks on me. No one picks on me. But I just think they do. But that brings us to the last track. Got a Thing for You, but it's a 4, the number 4. First listen, which is Debrat and Feet Debrat and Elephant Man.
Yes.
Written by Robert Caldwell, Shantae Harris, L.T. Hutton, and Alphonse Kettner. And Debrat's intro samples Passing Me By The Far Side, which also is sampled in Joe's Stutter.
Oh.
I was piecing it together like it's the I'm not going to remember it now. It's the first thing that she says. I was like, what's that from? And then it took me a while. Like I had to, and then I didn't even realize that Joe sings Stutter because that was a big hit.
Yes.
And I didn't piece it together because I was used to him doing more ballady stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, hang on. So he sings this song. And the only thing I wrote was, it's okay, probably not one I'll go back to.
Look, it's nice of Mariah to return the favour to Debrat, you know. Guesty favours, always good to return. But I think Mariah's presence elevates what is a fairly prosaic rap song. Like, the only good thing about this is Mariah.
Which is weird because normally Debrat's quite exciting when she pops up. But
Debrat is a guest I love. I don't want to stay at her house, though. I don't mind having her over for lunch.
That fold out.
But I don't want to go to her house for lunch.
Yeah, sure. And look, I gave this one a 3.5 as well, but they probably all should have been 2s. Let's be real.
Yeah, I'm putting this in the 2 bucket as well. It's just.
Oh my god, you've got more number 2s than I've got now.
Well, my toilet's close.
After all this. And look, the Dreadful Ones was a bigger piece of shit, so
you can't.
Needed more
it's a really good song.
It was a 7-minute dump.
It was 7 minutes of Mariah and Cisco having a vocal off.
Oh, so clogged. Sorry. It's funny because not only was I getting tired in the album, I'm now tired because, we've been doing this for 9 weeks.
It's been months.
Okay, so let's bring it back. Let's bring it home to
almost
our overall thoughts. So I'm just going to read what I wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we'll be here forever, and then you can do the same. So I think some of this album suffers a little bit because the sound that Mariah had been doing, the hip hop into the pop, suddenly was really popular.
Yes.
And it was suddenly everywhere. Probably because Mariah had done it.
Yeah, she created it.
And I think... Yeah, and I think, unfortunately, it suffers because of that. Not because it's bad, but because there were so many things that sounded like it at the time. So it didn't sort of stand out. So it doesn't it doesn't feel as special, I suppose. Whereas Glitter was such a different, no one's doing this. I did have a lot of breath in Mariah, which I do like. I don't need all belt, but somewhere in the middle of the album, which we touched on, it did feel a little samey.
Yes.
Everything has a nice enough delivery and the vocals and melodies and all of that, but just that bit in the middle. I kind of felt like no chances were taken.
Yeah, I know what you mean by that. Yeah.
Yeah, and some of those extra tracks could have been swapped out. It didn't really matter. But, I mean, they're all pleasant. There's nothing, oh my God, in that main album that's just so horrific that you never want to listen. Yeah. Every song you listen to, it's just more just that thing of like, oh yeah, this one. Oh, it's all right. I won't skip it.
Yeah.
But it's not my favourite. And I think because of that, a little bit of lack of light and shade in the middle, it kind of feels like some of those songs don't have an identity.
Yeah.
You sort of, there's no DNA for them. They're just kind of, which means you hear the name and go, wait, what one was that again?
Yeah.
It was like that one, but the other, but probably similar to Rainbow. Actually, I probably like it better than Rainbow in terms of the quality of the songs.
Yeah.
I think despite...
Well, it doesn't feel like, Rainbow
things.
feels like I'm trying to write a whole lot of singles. And this one feels like, no, I'm writing an album.
Yes. And I agree. I think this doesn't feel like a collection of songs. It does feel like an album.
Yeah.
And not a bad one by any stretch.
No.
It's just sort of... It's something you have on in the background while you're pottering around the house and you sing along and you're like, oh, this one. This is a good vocal.
Yeah.
It's not the one that you put on to party.
Yeah.
Or, so yeah, look, it's, to be honest, looking at all of Mariah's albums, there's really no duds.
No.
And so I don't think this is a dud either. I think I'd put it somewhere around the Rainbow level, but in a different, because I think I said Rainbow was actually not Rainbow is an easy listen.
Yes.
In terms of you can have it on and it's not sort of,
it's not taxing.
No. This was maybe a little more taxing just because of the length.
Yeah.
But I think it's a better album.
I think in that, I know you don't like a long song, but I think it is too long for an album. I think there are too many songs. Yeah. But again, I don't know what I would sacrifice because as soon as you point at one, I go...
Irresistible.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what about... Yeah. I mean, that's probably the least... But, that's the one with Jay-Z on it. It's like, well, you don't want to get rid of that because that's... So...
Because Beyonce would be mad.
Yeah. She'd be angry. Oh, no, it's not Irresistible.
You said something that...
The Jay-Z's on it's the other one, isn't it?
Well, what you just did is exactly the problem with the album. Which one is it? Yeah.
But yeah. I think it's it's I just I feel like I don't know what songs I would lose, so I know I understand why there are so many.
Yeah.
And also, you think if you pull one or two out, then do you kind of upset the rhythm of the album and what song flows into what? So
I think it really, for me, it was the triple DP of You Had Your Chance, Lullaby, and Irresistible.
yeah, but you haven't heard them the way they need to be heard.
Well, obviously. I will say it's funny. I know it probably seems like I can't stand a long song. I think it's that people, when they write I think it's a bunch of long songs together.
Yes.
That's when I get frustrated. One, all good.
Yeah.
And
as long as it's surrounded by 10
vibe.
songs that are under 3 minutes.
Not even that. 3.5 to 4, even 4.5, I don't mind. But once you get to the 5-minute mark, it's like this has got to be earned like a key change.
Yeah.
And sometimes people, and this is the time, this is not Mariah, this is the time people went on. And you see a total 180 when it's sort of, caution is bang, bang, bang. And I don't mind something in between. Some of my favorite songs are 6 or 7 minutes, but I don't know, maybe it's a particular way I like it to build, and sometimes they don't. But this one, I will say that's probably the biggest part of this one. It's like a few edits. Maybe that was what it needed. Maybe it needed a couple of radio edits in some of these songs.
It's ironic that we are saying that in a podcast that goes over an hour.
I know. It's fine. Someone put a post on Twitter the other day saying like, if someone, if a podcast goes for over 50 minutes, they need an editor. I'm like, we're just getting to the me moments.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? All right. So is that your overall thoughts? Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I think it's a really solid album. Like, as in each song feels like it has its own place. It has a real ebb and flow to it, as did Glitter. And it feels like, like I said, it feels like Rainbow 2.0. It's like, okay, what if I made Rainbow, but I didn't try and make so many singles, and I just made decent songs.
Those 3 albums are probably the most forgotten
of
Mariah's career, and I think that's not necessarily deserving. I don't think that this deserves to be forgotten. I think Glitter, of the 3, is the one that was the most sort of maligned and yet probably the best one.
Yeah.
And
I think
so
with
while
this 20 years of hindsight, it feels
infamous,
more structurally sound than
yes,
certainly Rainbow.
And I think that one is like Glitter is infamous, which means people still know of it.
Yeah.
I feel like people don't know much about Rainbow or Charmbracelet.
Yeah.
And I think it's a little unfair because I think any other artist, I don't want to say anyone regular, but any other artist who put out this album, it could have been their biggest album.
Oh, yeah.
It's just that Mariah's bar is so much higher.
Yeah.
When you've got some of those big, big moments, even if it's just as good, people don't perceive it that way.
Yeah. I mean, like a song like Clown, like so
fun,
so pointed, so great. Like, it's, but you wouldn't want to release it as a single, but oh my God, it's a great moment on this album. So yeah, I feel like.
Yeah. And you know what it's about?
Yeah. Straight away.
All right. Let's hit us up with a favorite song.
This is a hard one.
You can pick a couple. I picked 2.
Tell me what your 2 are.
So I picked Through the Rain,
mm-hmm.
the ballad, and Subtle Invitation.
Subtle Invitation.
It just stood out straight away. I was like, ooh, I'm here for this.
I think I'm going to go for my surprise favorite from this recent listen, which is Lullaby, because I discovered how amazingly sexy it is this time. And I know it was not your favorite, but I really do love I Only Wanted.
Wait, which one?
I only wanted you to stay. I know it had the annoying crashing.
I don't remember which song that is.
That was the one that it was like a ballad
Oh,
with
yeah,
a bit
yeah.
of guitar in it, and you thought she was she didn't take it anywhere good.
Yeah. I still gave it a 4, but yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a favorite and then it wasn't.
Yeah.
So I'm going to preface this by saying I didn't include the bonus tracks in my overall scores and my favorite and least favorite. They're just little add-ons.
Yeah.
So my least favorites come from the album itself, and I also picked 2, and I think it's going to be controversial. So I'm going to let you say your least favorites first.
Irresistible.
Just full stop.
Yep. It's fine.
Okay. People, this could get me in trouble.
Here we go.
So my least favorite songs from the main album. There were worse songs that we'd covered, but for the main album, one of them is Through the Rain remix,
I can't believe you don't like Through the Rain remix.
and the other one is The One.
The One. Oh,
Yeah,
you don't like The One.
I don't remember what I said about it, but I'm going to scroll up. I just, again, it could have just been the hype around it.
I think you were expecting too much from it. Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I don't know. I just didn't. I was like, it's fine. I like the lyrical content,
Yes.
but the song itself was not sort of hitting me.
Yeah.
But I know it sounds silly, but you know how you'll have a song with the same name that you really like.
Yes.
So there's quite a few songs called Wonderful Life, which I quite like all of them. So there's one, there's a Gwen Stefani one, there's one by Hertz, and there's one, it was covered by Tina Cousins, but it was someone else. All good songs. I like them all equally.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite Kylie songs is The One. And so it's like a similar, I hold it up. So anytime I hear of another song with the same name, I'm like, ooh, I'm going to like it.
Is it
and
going
so
to be
then
as
it's
good
like,
as that one?
Yeah, but then it wasn't.
Oh.
So, bringing us in overall score. This is difficult because I feel like in the end, they all even out to a similar number.
Yes.
Because, you have a pro, you'll have a con, blah, blah, blah. So, for me, it's bringing it into basically in line with Butterfly and Rainbow at a 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. Right. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think.
But it's hard because comparing them, it's like, I can't. My brain.
Yeah. I think she's more mature on this album. And I think, yeah, it is, there's too much here to really, it's kind of like you've spread too much jam over not enough pieces of bread, basically.
Yeah.
So I think I can only do 4.5. I can't quite go all the way to infinity because there's a lot. And I like all of it, but it's
just funny. I'm keeping track because of a lot of these being first listens. Because what?
No, because you have to keep everything in an order.
Or that too, yeah. But just sort of, it's weird how things have fallen. So at the moment, Daydream's still my number 1.
Yes.
But then just underneath, we've got MTV Unplugged, Mariah, and Glitter.
Yeah.
I feel like they're when I say second tier, they're still very up there.
Yes.
Music Box is the next one, and then Butterfly, Rainbow, and Charmbracelet are sort of one level together, but weirdly for very different reasons. So I feel like, the ones that are together, the MTV Unplugged, Mariah Carey, and Glitter, it's because there's variety, that it's positives. Whereas Butterfly, Rainbow, and Charmbracelet, they're very different in terms of their strengths and their weaknesses. So that's where it's hard to compare them.
Do you know what the problem is with all 3 of them?
What's that?
There are too many songs. The more songs you put on, the more you can kind of tax a listener.
Get a bit lost.
Yeah, and you can kind of go, I don't remember that one and that one and that one. I remember all these ones. They were all good, but I don't remember these 3, and that one shat me.
Yeah.
Whereas when you've got 10 or 11 songs, it's I'm fine. They're all
I think that's the thing.
They're all bangers.
The strength of Butterfly was the experimentation, the high highs.
Yeah.
But then for me, some of the lows, the beautiful ones, that's the lowest I've gone so far. Yeah. So that colors it a little bit. Whereas Rainbow, there's nowhere near as many highs as Butterfly. No. But there was no super, super lows either. except for that one that you mentioned before.
Yeah.
This one, similar to, it's not as high as Butterfly, as in terms of the high highs.
Yeah.
But it is definitely a more consistent album than Rainbow. But it's, like you said, the length of it is what drags it down. It could have been up with Music Box.
Yeah.
Had it just
had it
a little
decided to get out when it was on top.
But you know what? Sometimes I do. I can make my own little version of an album on a playlist. I'll be like, you know what? The bit that I've done this, and this is, you're going to pick on me. I never listen to Jerry Halliwell's albums for good reason.
Why would you?
But then, as I've sort of mentioned, I've gone on little like song journeys, like album journeys during lockdown, just to fill the time. And so I listened to the B-sides as well. And oh my God, I don't know who the idiot was who said that those are the B-sides, because every single one of her B-sides is better than every one of her album tracks. So I just made my own little playlist. Yeah. With all the fun. They're just fun, campy. Imagine, I don't know, I can't think now. It's not almost like, a fun, drunk Shirley Bassey cover. Like, she's just kind of like, I'm just going to have fun because, I can't sing it. So I'm just going to have fun with it with a whiskey. And that's fun. That's Jerry.
I wonder if, because so many Mariah B-sides were loved by the fans, like from the early days, I wonder if that's what's made her leave all these songs on here. Because it's like, possibly, the fans love all this other stuff. And it's like, well, yeah, we do, but maybe we wouldn't love them if they were there on the album with all these other songs.
Yeah.
Maybe I wouldn't love Do You Think of Me if it was there on Music Box. I might not have been that into it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, possibly. And some of these could have been saved for Rarities 2 Almost Home.
Yeah. Rarities 2.
And then they could have been loved in a different way.
Yeah. I mean, look
anyway,
how many extra songs we had this week. You could make a whole Rarities album just with that.
I know. And we'll point out, we do know that they weren't all on the album. No, there were some that were from outside.
Yes.
At the end of the podcast, baby. Almost there, almost home. You could probably say, but you won't because of copyright. That's a no. All right, I think we have more than broken the back.
We have. We've done the whole charm bracelet. There's charms all over the floor. The bracelet is snapped.
Yeah, and we are aging rapidly.
We are. All right. Well, we've got Ziegler. 2 chapters. I think we're doing next time.
Yeah, Latin Elvis, and the Emancipation of Me. I think.
Yes, excellent. So yes, we will see you on our next Mariah Monday.
Yeah.
Right. Bye, Lamely.
Bye.